I'm George Hery, and a lot of you know who I used to be. Still are, yeah. This session we've named Flipping and Twisting, so that's mostly what we're going to cover. I've prepared from my days of learning. I don't know if you know the name Dan Millman, who's quite a famous book writer. Dan was the first world amateur champion, and in that same year I was the first world professional champion. And Dan complains about that because he won a trophy and I won a new Mustang. He says, I haven't figured out how to drive my trophy yet. But we learned from a grand fellow named Jess Robinson down in Southern California, and we learned through a thing he called the flip charts. And I've taken the liberty to copy from Jess's flip charts some things, and I embellished them a little bit. In these two sheets of paper, there's over 900 skills, single flips and flips with twists. This first page says backwards flips, and you go backwards from your feet, you can go backwards from your back, you can go backwards from your stomach, you can go backwards from a thing called a kaboom. And then this sheet is the forward ones. You can go forward from your feet, forward from your back, forward from a kaboom, forward from sitting. And you can do it in tuck positions, pike positions, straight positions. You can do it with a half twist up to 3.5 twists. And just in this simple thing, there's over 900 skills. Now in an hour, we're not going to be able to cover 900 skills, okay? But these are available if you'd like to have those. Give me a shout. The trampoline is such a useful tool. If your student is doing double backs on the floor, they can maybe do 3 of them in a day. Okay, that's about all their legs will take. Up here, you could do 103 a day. Okay, and gain the awareness, gain the body positions, gain all of the concepts that we want to talk about today. As teachers, I want you to first think about, there's three things. First is the initiation of the skill. Getting the skill started. What has to happen to get it started, okay? Laws of physics haven't changed in over 2,000 years, and they're probably not going to change anytime soon. The second thing is controlling that movement. How do you control it? If you're spinning and you start your spin with your arms wide like an ice skater and you bring them in, what happens? You speed up. What happens if you put them back out? You slow down. Okay, this is controlling the movement. The third thing then is perfecting the timing, the movements themselves, so that you can add more to it. Okay, when you first learn your back flip, it's not perfect enough to start working on a double flip. You have to do thousands of back flips before you're ready to start doing double back flips. Okay, and I don't mean hundreds, I mean thousands, okay, to do it safely. When I started on trampoline, there weren't spotting belts. We had a couple of guys, Jerry Todd maybe and Glenn Vaughn, who knew how to spot. So when you learned to double flip in the air, you had to have everything else perfect before you started doing that. And that's a concept I want to really expound here today. We do have some fabulous demonstrators here. Some girls from Pacific West Gymnastics. There's a young man over here named George Hery Jr. who can do a little bit. And in a few minutes we'll have Ben Carson, who's a competing trampolinist. So we can see a lot of different things. And it's good to see all the different aspects. The girls, are you guys, what level are you, 5s and 6s? Huh? 9? And we've got a 9 as well. So we'll see a lot of different things that we want to see. Okay, let's get started with the flipping first. In order to get a flip started, if you're a body up in the air, can you jump up in the air and do your flip right at the top? Can you do that? How do you start the flip? How does it start up there? You throw your head, let's say a back flip. You throw your head back and that make you flip around? Well, there's one of the laws of physics is every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if you throw your head back, the equal and opposite reaction is your feet are going to fly up this way. You didn't go anyplace. Okay, forward. You jump up and you throw your arms and your head down. What's going to happen? Your feet fly up in front of you. You didn't go anyplace. You have to have some force in order to start that flip going. Now in gymnastics, we have the floor. If you take a run and your feet land on the floor and they stay on the floor for any length of time, you start rotating. The floor is pushing your feet backwards. On the trampoline, we make a dent in the trampoline when we go down in the trampoline. If you're going to go back flip, you push backwards against that dent. That throws your feet forward, up in front of you. Okay? And you start rotating backwards. The first rotation we do is land on your back. You go a little further, you land on your head, which you don't want to do. You got to go on farther, you could land on your stomach and eventually around to your feet. But to get the concept of what makes this happen, okay? I hear so many times, go up in the air and throw your head back. Well, that doesn't do anything. How about twisting? Go up in the air and throw your arms. What happens? Your legs go the other way. Okay, so we're going to explore all these things. In order to start rotating, let's start with forward rotations. Emily's going to start right there. I've drawn a little white line on the trampoline. Some trampolines don't have marks on them. Put a mark there. Very important. Emily's going to do the first bit of rotation. She's going to go forward and land on her tummy. Okay, just do 2 or 3 little bounces and do a tummy drop. Okay? She went straight up. She comes straight down. Her tummy lands where her feet used to be. Okay? If she leans forward when she takes off, what happens? She flies way up here and tears all the skin off her tummy. Well, she might want to learn how to dive a little bit forward. We might want to do a dive roll or something. So start just behind the X and land on the X. You're going to dive forward just 3 inches or 4 inches and land on your tummy again. Yeah. Okay, now start in front of the X and jump backwards and land on your tummy. Okay, she's gaining away. Now when you do this on flips, is that important? It sure is. How do you learn a Jaeger on the bars? That's a front flip going backwards. If you can't do that up here, you're going to land sitting on top of the bar. Okay, how do you do a flyaway? That's a gainer. A flyaway is a back flip going forward. Where do you learn it? Right here. This is where we learn all this stuff. And we start with just basic simple things like this. We're going to do the same thing with the backdrop now. We're going to go just do a straight up and down backdrop. In order to do that, she has to get her legs out in front of her center of gravity. Okay, so basically do one more. Let's see if she pushes her feet. She pushes backwards against the trampoline. The feet come flying up in front. Okay, you understand that? When she goes down in that dent, she pushes back there, the feet come up in front. So start up here and dive backwards. Now she pushed against the front part of the dent and she flew backwards. Right? Now go back there and jump forward and land on your back in a gainer idea. Now she pushes against the back side of the dent really hard and makes her whole body go forward. Okay, these are extremely important things in learning how to establish the start of the rotation. Now, once you get it started, the front flips have a lot of little progressions we can do. Tiana, jump up again. Can you do a tummy drop real easy without hurting yourself? Just real easy. That's a girl. And then can you dive over to your back? Do a back drop, dive forward, start a front flip. Little baby front flip, land on your back. Dive roll. Just a dive roll. Yeah, good, good, okay. That's what we normally see on the first dive rolls, or first front flips. Traveling forward, you know, not knowing positions and so on. That's what I wanted to show. Come on down. Make sure you stop there, jump off, stick your landing. Okay, George, jump up and do a 3/4 front. Well, first do hands and knees and then over to your hands and knees over to the back drop, to correct backdrop position. Then from your feet, the same thing. Okay, then you bounce in front of the trampoline and you dive backwards to the white line. Same idea. Every trick, you want to get all these things in it. Every trick. Don't skip anything. Okay, it's going to come back and bite you later on. Don't skip anything. you have so many things. You have spotting belts, you have mats you can put on the trampoline, little 4-inch throw mats. You can put this mat up there. That's fine for the beginning kids. A lot of times it's enough just to get them to do a flip. Even doesn't matter if it travels forward. Later on they can learn to do it straight up and down and traveling backwards. Get them to do 100 flips. Get them so they're confident. Okay? Before they actually flip to their feet, there's a whole bunch of other places they can start. Do the hands and knees and flip around and land to sitting. Okay, we had George go around to his back. Ben's going to go a little further and land sitting. Now go a little farther than that yet. And touch your feet first and then sit down. So he goes around, almost stand up, but sit back down. So this is the next stage. He touches his feet, then he sits down. He's safe. We don't need to spot him for these things. If they've done these 100 skills, they know how to do this. We don't have any problems. Okay, so then he does that at 200 times. And then he can do his front flip and land on his feet, and you don't worry about it. Okay? So do just a nice front flip. Okay, I want everybody to do a nice front flip. 2 bounces, front flip and land, all right? Emily, go. Jump down, stick your landing. Front flip. Tuck front and stick. Jump down, stick your landing. Kiana, you follow Morgan. Good girl. Ben, do one more. George hasn't been on. Let George do one. Ben, you be the leader and George will be the caboose. Okay, now, that was pretty good, everybody, but now you know what, girls? I saw when George did that, he had his toes pointed and he made a nice kick out about here and floated down, okay? So everybody's got to do that. Ben, you're the leader. Oh, nice. See that? Nice kick out. He had his hands at his sides. He floated down. That's what they want to see on the trampoline competition. Kick out at the top, arms at the sides as you kick out, and then you float down. And if you're going to do another trick, then, of course, the arms fly up again. All right. Now, wait a minute. You're way back there behind that white line. All right. Try it from there. Okay, a little better. It's going to take me probably a couple of weeks to get him to do cutaways. Good, Morgan. So how many front flips did it take Kiana and Emily to gain that habit of leaning forward and flying forward in it? Hundreds, right? How many is it going to take them to get so they can do a front flip that travels backward? Thousands. Okay, good, good, excellent. Very important point, very important point. Okay, we did a nice front flip tucked, and you girls have had your 3 weeks to do your 1,000 front flips. You can all do them perfectly. The next thing is a front flip pike. So Ben's going to do the front flip pike, and watch, girls, he's going to make a nice kick out. He kicks out, floats down, and lands. All right, Emily? Quick class here. All right. Just a couple of bounces, get up in the air, front flip piked, and it's okay if you sit down or do anything else. All right. Now you're going to have to, as teachers, see what's going on and work on corrections. Okay, so for Kiana, for Emily, we're going to do a lot of tummy drops that travel backwards for a while. We're going to do crash dives or 3/4 fronts to the back that go straight up and down or travel backwards. Before long, 1,000 more tries, then their front flips will go straight up and down. They can do them piked and they can do them laid out. Whose turn is it? Okay, George, you got to do a nice pike front, and when you land this time, you got to jump with a half turn. So he does his pike front, and he's going to do a little half turn like that. All right, Ben's turn. Just before you land, Ben, you got to put that half turn in there. So Ben's going to do the front flip piked, kick and turn. Now I don't know the girls very well, so I'm going to have to test them a lot more, okay, to see what they can do. Their pike fronts I would like to improve a little bit more yet and get the kickouts earlier. But let's go on and, Emily, let's do a pike front, and after you land on the trampoline, bounce with a half turn. Okay, now let Emily stay up here for a minute. Now beforehand, in the other class, we tested Emily a little bit. We had her jump up and do a spin, 1.5 spin. Can you do that again? Do it again. Okay. And then I had her do, what other trick did I have you do? Swivel hips, seat drop, half turn. She did a seat drop, half turn. Do that again. Just seat drop and half turn up. And if you were really observant, you would have seen that on her 1.5 spin, she went to the right, and on a seat drop with a half turn, she went to the left. Okay, do we have a problem growing here? Yes, we do. And it looks to me like, and just the only time I've seen her just in a few times, looks to me like her more natural twist is going to go to the right. She'd do your pike front again and bounce another half turn. Pike front, bounce a half turn. No, pike front flip. Front flip, bounce, do the half turn. So it looks like her natural twist is going to go to the right, to me. So we're going to test this a little further, okay? And there's a whole bunch of things you can test. The seat drop half turn is one thing. And when you get to the full turns, it's even more important. Seat drop full turn, that would be a little more telltale. Tummy drop half turn. Do a tummy drop half turn to your feet. Okay, how about a half turn to your tummy drop, that airplane, remember? Yeah. So she's a pretty smart girl. She's going to the right on everything. That's good, darling, jump down. I just wanted to illustrate that, okay? If you get to twisting the wrong direction, and a lot of kids have the tendency to go forward one direction and backwards the other direction. And you'll see this pretty quickly when you start doing all the little skills. Tummy drop, half turn to tummy drop, back drop, half turn to back drop. You'll start seeing them mix them up. Then you got to start back at the beginning and really start working on one direction, which becomes more natural. And then everything will go that direction. And while I'm on this particular subject, let me just say, for most of us, we don't know which direction we're twisting when we do a round off. The kids say, I'm a righty. That means they put their right hand down, which means they're twisting to the left. So are you a righty or are you a lefty? Okay, start thinking about conversing not so you can be understood, but so you can't be misunderstood. A kid comes down the floor and says, I'm going to do a double, round and flip-flop double. Do they mean a twister or a double back? You better know. Okay, very important. But, so everybody figure out which way you go on a round off. How many put your right hand down first? Raise your hand. Are you twisting to the right or the left? The right. If you put your right hand down first, okay, watch me. I put my right hand down first. Which way am I twisting, right or left? Left. So you do your round off one way and twist the other way.
Yeah, I pull to the right, yeah.
Okay. Now, this happens to at least 50% of the kids. So when we're starting to do the front twisting, this becomes extremely important. Many kids do a round off in the air called a branny, and half the kids in the world are twisting the wrong direction, their unnatural direction. They will never learn a front with a full, a Rudy, a half in, half out, a half in, Rudy out, any of the harder tricks. Okay, so this is really important for you guys to understand. Don't do round offs in the air and call them brannies. You'll be correct half the time, but you'll be incorrect the other half of the time, okay? Teach it with a pike front, bounce a half turn in their natural twisting direction. Get them to do then the front with a half like Ben and George are doing. This will bite you all around the gym. Pirouettes on the bars, everything. So make this a real important thing to do. All right, Morgan, let's do one more girl here. Morgan, do a pike front kick out and bounce a half turn. Oh, shoot, put the half turn right in there. All right, do it again. Now, when you kick out, be a little sharper. Kick out really fast. Kick and turn. Okay, one more time, darling. And this is much harder for kids who have done brannies. It's harder for them to do this if they've already taught themselves a branny. It's much harder to do the pike open, kick out, turn. I remember somebody yesterday saying that on front tumbling, you don't start your twist from an arch. You remember that? It's always pike a little bit, and then you kick out and turn. Earlier class, in the beginning class, we talked about the cat twist. Ben, jump up here and again do a cat twist. Pike cat twist. He does a pike. As he opens, he turns his upper body and his lower body against each other. He can put a half twist right in there. Do a pike front with a half twist again. This is a cat twist. Do a pike front half twist and bounce another half afterwards. Okay, then he adds all that together and it becomes a front with a full. He gets his front with a full, he bounces another half, it becomes a Rudy. Okay? It just keeps going like that. Okay. He's just learned his front with a half, bounced another half. Now we're going to put that other half in there. Front with a full. So he can do a front with a full and bounce another half turn. Yeah, go ahead and do that. And then he can do a Rudy after about 1,000 practices. Okay? Stay up and do one more for me. Just don't do it yet. Now there's the laws of physics, and then there's teaching techniques. So to teach Ben a Rudy, I'm going to have to do something different than teaching him a Rudy. That's called teaching techniques. But my first consideration is still going to be the laws of physics, the initiation of the skill, the rotation of the controlling of the rotations, and perfecting it. Okay, and then if I have to have different teaching techniques, I will. But there are certain little points about tricks that people who have done lots of them can tell you. Okay, one of them I can tell you about the Rudy is as you're taking off, if you look at your landing point, you're going to have much better, more success in doing a quick Rudy, checking out and landing at that point than if you don't. Let's watch his head, see if he looks at the beginning at the center line here on the trampoline. You distinctly see him look, wrap his Rudy, and check out, okay? Now that's a very important consideration when you start doing more advanced twisting, especially forward. Backwards, you're not going to look at the trampoline. We'll look someplace else, and we'll get to that when we go backwards. Let's go backwards. Girls, jump up here. Emily, start us off. I want you to do jump in the back there and jump forward again and land on your back. Good. Now, can you do that a little bit when you do your back flip? Don't go clear back there. Come up, toes on the white line. And I want when you finish, I want your toes just to be in front of your white line a little bit. So good back flip. Just a back tuck. Everybody do a back tuck. Good. Do one more. Take a couple bounces if you want. Good back tuck. All right, Morgan or Kiana, let Kiana go. Stick it. Good girl. All right, good, darling. Okay. George, why don't you do one? A couple of bounces here. Okay, girls, I want the girls to watch now when the boys do them. Do a flying. Okay, Ben. Okay. It's not because the boys are stronger. They've done many thousand more of them. Okay? You see the nice stretch on the takeoff, the tuck, the quick tuck, and then the kick out. Okay? Now on the trampoline competition, they want those kickouts to have the hands pretty much at the side so that as you're coming down into the trampoline, your arms are going to go right up into the next trick. Okay? And if you can get a kick out like that on the floor, you're going to score way better than if you don't. Right? If you do your tuck all the way around and come down and land like this, you're not going to score nearly as well as if you do one like he did. Okay? So did you girls see those back tucks? All right, let's all jump up here and we'll do one more and we'll see how much we can improve here in one try. It's going to take thousands, but on one try, what we're going to work on, two things. As you start up, you're going to stretch a little bit stronger, and then you're going to make a very quick tuck and see if you can slide your legs out up there and float down and land. Okay? 2 or 3 bounces, good strong reach up. That's it, girl. Good, Emily. All right, Kiana. Good stick. One more, kick out early. Slide, look at my tuck. I come to the tuck and I slide my legs out, okay? Slide those legs out. That's the first part of opening, is just the legs. Good girl, good girl. Later on you can open the whole body, okay? First work on something you can do. Good, much improved back flip. Now one more thing I'd like to see you do is get those arms up on takeoff. Yeah. We talked on the earlier class about the arm swing. Ben, do just 5 jumps with a good arm swing. His arms are up and then they're there until he's coming into the trampoline. Then they swing down really hard. Watch him swing them down, 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 and they fly up by themselves, okay? Now if you're going to do a triple back, you have to do that on the takeoff. There's no way to start with your hands up here and do a triple back. Very difficult. Unless you've already done a triple front with a half twist in front of it, and then you've got rotation going. But this arm swing is very important. Let George do another back flip. We're going to make him emphasize the stretch at the takeoff. Okay, still do it with a kick out if you can. Okay, watch his beat and his stretch at the takeoff. Stretch and kick out, okay? I love that. Flying, do your trick, kick out and float down, okay? That's the only way you can do 10 tricks in a row. You have to be able to kick out early and float down and be in good preparation for the next stunt. Okay, twisting. Emily's going to jump up and do try to do a double spin this time. Start with your arms wide and pull them in. Yeah, 2 times around, all while you're up in the air. Take 3 bounces. Spin and around. Good, good. All right, Kiana. Kiana's going to start with her arms out here and put them up here. What's that going to do? Going to speed her up? Of course, she's shortening the radius of rotation. All right, arms up. Start with them wide, and now, right after you start, you bring them together up here. You might want to do this on the balance beam. When you do your double turn on the balance beam, this makes sense to get your center of gravity a little taller and have your body nice and straight. Morgan, on the floor, I saw you do this on the floor. She does a beautiful double spin on the floor and she puts her hands down here. So start with them out and bring them down. Wow. Right? Get all the kids to get everything. Don't skip anything. Everybody's got to learn to spin like this, like that, and like this. And then, Ben, go up and do your full with the arm drop. This is a trampoline full. What we want to see when we compete. Drop arm. Okay. I'll save you for later. Huh?
A little bright.
Yeah, yeah. Now, what did he didn't look at the trampoline when he does that until the very end. As he's coming down, he can see the trampoline. At the beginning, he can look at something in front. Myself and Dan Millman and Harvey Plant may have been the only ones that did this. I don't know if you did this or not. We looked at the ceiling. We could watch the ceiling until our feet got clear up to here. If you look in front, you can only watch it till your feet get here at the beginning. Now, I didn't talk about that on the back flip, did I? I talked about stretching. I didn't say what you look at. Generally speaking, you look at the wall in front of you on the way up. You can tell how much rotation you've got, how high you're going, and if you're going to make your double or triple or back flip. you can't see anything else anyway. So you should take a peek at the front, do your tuck. When you kick out, you're looking right at your landing. Okay, on double backs, your kick out is going to happen before you see anything. As you take off, you've seen the takeoff. You've probably seen the trampoline flash by if you've done 2,000 of them, so that you know that you only have about 3/4 of a flip left, and you're going to do a half of that and kick out. And then you're going to see the tramp when you land. On twisting, I didn't want to start my twists so early. I wanted to start them up here. So we could go clear to here and then do our twist. So we just started spotting the ceiling rather than the front wall. And it worked fine for us, but I don't know if anybody has ever done that since. Nowadays, when they do all doubles with twists and stuff, they can see the tramp most of the time during that, so that's what they really hone in on. I want to say one more time, work on getting the natural direction of twist for each kid. One kid's going to be right, one kid's going to be left. If you find kids that have mixed sides, play with little things a lot longer until something starts to turn up. But don't let them twist backwards one direction and forward the other direction. You could do that if you're only going to go to level 4 or 5, okay? But if you got a kid with any talent, don't let them do that. Take the time to change it. I think you could do, you know, really good high-level gymnastics and still twist 2 different directions, but you're going to be limited on tricks to do. And in teaching things, for example, when you teach a back in full out, you can do a back, do your half turn, land on your stomach. Do your back, do your half turn, duck your head under and land on your back. Then you do your back, half turn, front flip. Now if you do a front flip with a half turn, you've got a 0. You can't learn a full out that way. I'm just saying, there's a lot of tricks that if you don't twist the same direction all the time, there's a lot of things that are real difficult to do. You could still do it, okay? I know a lot of high-level gymnasts that twist both, you know, forward one way and backwards the other way, but they're still limited. Have a real hard time teaching them with certain progressions. They can't change from backward to forward, for example, or forward to backwards and keep twisting. It just doesn't work. That's all. Okay. Everybody do back layouts? Let's all jump up here and everybody take a back layout. Now on a back layout, on the trampoline, we try not to travel too far. It gets dangerous if you travel too far. So hopefully we've worked on, prior to this, doing straight up and down back tucks and back pikes and back layouts. Let's all jump up, Emily, and let's do a back layout. Stay down there at that end, yeah. Okay, nice back layout. Now again, I don't know the kids, so it's a bit of a test when I do these things. Everybody gets one try. Okay, jump down. Go ahead, Kiana. And watch carefully. Watch body positions, watch head positions, watch arm positions, and then we'll talk about it. Okay. Stick it. Uh-oh, 2 tenths off. Good, Morgan. All right. Go ahead, Ben. All right. Okay, George. Almost everybody will have has something different for you to see. Okay, and that's pretty much true throughout humanity. So when it comes to teaching techniques, you're going to have a lot of things at your disposal. Those who have taught 40 years, we have a lot of things at our disposal. You guys have to learn more things from us. All right, Emily. Now, one of the things I like to get everybody to be able to do is when you take off, if you're not going to travel, you have to push your hips up in front. So you're going to have a slight arch at the beginning. So probably the first thing I work on is the arm swing of jumping, and then the arm swing of getting into back flips and into back layouts. On the layout, on the back tuck, it's probably going to stop here. On the layout, it's going to go a little bit farther because we're going to get this in. And then the second thing we work on is tightening our body. So let's see if we can get that arm swing, get the arms up into our layout really hard, and then right about here as your feet come up, tighten your body and get real straight. And try to stay straight as long as you can, and then you have to pike down. Okay? Yeah. Okay. Morgan? We can edit that out, Emily. Okay, now, it's obvious that the girls haven't jumped a lot. Their arm swing is not getting the arms up there into the back layout. George, do one more and kind of emphasize the arm beat and arms up into your layout. Now, he was a gymnast more than a trampolinist, so let Ben do it too. And when Ben jumps, you'll see his arms fly way up. Right away, they go up. And in trampoline, a lot of times, they want you to, while you're up in the air on the last bounce, bring your arms down and then back up for the takeoff. Well, that's great if you're doing forward, but it's not so great if you're going backwards. To do a triple or something, you really need that arm swing also. But you can see the back layouts now with straight bodies. If you take a youngster and hang them on one ring, the still rings, one ring, have them spread their legs a little bit, take the legs and give them a little spin, say, now bring your legs together. What happens? They really fast. And then you tell them to spread their legs, they slow down again, right? Bring them together, they go fast again. Pike, what happens? They slow way down. If they pike, slow way down. Straighten, they go real fast. Arch, slow way down. Straighten, go really fast. That'll teach them what body position they have to have when they do their twisting. You have to have this straight body layout in order to do any like double twists or anything like that. You can do tuck fulls and things, but you can't really twist unless you have a straight body. So we have to work on the back layout and get it perfectly straight, okay? Now let's say that we've done that. Morgan, come up here. Now I'm gonna eventually try to work on the kids to get their layout with the arms up throughout the whole layout. Let's try to do a layout and hold your arms up the whole time during your layout. Keep them up over your head, keep them up. Okay, so you see they get up a little late and they come down a little bit early. But do one more, keep working on this. Yeah, very good. Do one more and get the legs straight now. That was good. Get upside down faster. Excellent. Hold those arms up. All right, good, good. Okay, stay up there. Now, when you get this really, really good, you can do who is that? Ben was doing on his back with a full. What happens when you do a layout and you do this with your arms? You speed up your rotation, or you go slower?
No.
Huh? You'd speed up, wouldn't you? You go around faster.
Yeah.
So because your body is long, you make it shorter, you go faster. That's the same thing as this, almost. It's just half of that. But you do speed up. Now, what would happen if you drop this arm? This side tries to go faster, doesn't it? And you start turning. Okay, you can effect a turn up in the air. You don't have to turn from the apparatus. You can go flying off any apparatus as long as you have rotation. You drop one arm, you do a handspring full over the vault, right? You ever see the kids drop their arm? Well, if you're going forward, you drop the opposite arm from backwards, okay? Just everybody understands that, right? You drop the arm on the side where you want to twist. So if you're going backwards and you want to twist to the right, you would drop your right arm first. And then, of course, you drop the left arm, you speed it up even more. Okay, and that's the style they want to see on trampoline. Guys are doing quadruple twisters on the trampoline with their arms at their sides. They're doing triple fronts with a 1.5 twist in the last flip with their arms at their sides. It works. Okay, it really works. And what I just did now is kind of so you understand the physics of it. Okay, this side speeds up. If you drop your arm to the side, your body would tilt, and it would help you twist also. So dropping that arm forward or down to the side is good. Okay, now, for her, I want all the children to learn to do their back twisting, a back with a half twist, way different than a feeling than a back with a full. I never want them to get those things mixed up. Okay, so the back with a half is going to be a very late twist, or it's going to be the Arabian, a very early twist, but it's not going to be the full twist, which starts here and finishes here. Okay, or starts here and finishes here if you're going that way. So the thing I work on is getting them to learn a back with a half first. And we'll do our layout, do another layout, keep your arms up the whole time, and after you land, jump with a half turn. Good. And then she can put that half turn in just before she lands.
My arms up?
Yeah, hold your arms up. Just a hip twist. Good. Now she turns to the left, so this time, just as you start your turn, pull your left arm down. Let that arm go down and keep your right one up. That helps her turn a little bit, okay? And for the first time she's trying it, well, that's darn good. I mean, usually it takes thousands of tries to get all these things. A lot of the kids will start to turn way early, and I skipped a step here. Normally I have them do their layout, and when they see the trampoline, they clap their hands. Do that. Put your hands up in your layout. When you see the trampoline, wait till you're looking at it, clap. Okay, and that's where you start your turn. That late, way over here, okay? Okay, do it again, clap your hands, and then put your turn in. Good. She could do a back with a half and bounce a half, and before long that becomes a full, but it's a late full. It's not too difficult to bring that up to this position though. The other thing that we were doing, remember when we did the back layout, when we came up and we tightened our body? Okay, get them to understand that position. Come up to about here and tighten your body. Okay, try a layout, and as you start off, of course, you're arched a little bit. Right about here, as your feet get up in front of you right here, tighten your body and get real straight. Good, very good. Now if right at that time, she drops her arm, you probably pull your arms in for your full, right? You can pull your arms in, it's okay. Okay, so right at that point, when she tightens and straightens, that's the time when she wants to do her full. Okay, can you do full first? Okay, now you can see it's really from about here to here. We want to bring it up a little bit tighter, so it gets real fast full. When it gets to be a real fast full, then you can do a double full. When that gets to be real fast, you can do a triple full. Okay, the third concept, the concept of perfecting what you're doing. Okay, so we've established two things now: the initiation of the flip, the rotation. And in her situation here, the rotation is really coming a little bit from the backward cat and the arm coming in. When you're going to do a double twister, you got to pull the left arm a little bit sooner than the right one. That's going to change the moment of inertia, which nobody can, I'm not even sure I understand the formula anymore. But what happens, you've all had a hammer with a claw that hangs down, and you try to flip it in the air. If you flip it with the hammer pointing straight towards you, it does a flip. If you turn it sideways, it always does a twist. And that's because the moment of inertia is different. If your body's going around in the air and you suddenly would do this, you would start twisting. Okay, so if you're doing this and you suddenly do this, you start twisting. You're changing the moment of inertia. And there's mathematical formulas that prove this. So that's the first law of physics. Then you got to control it. Okay, you got to do it at the right time. You got to, if you set your arms up and out a little bit, now you've got a wider radius to pull in and make the twist go faster. You do that at the right time. You got yourself a full twist or a double twist or eventually a triple twist. Okay? Good, darling. Jump down a minute. Do a full first. And do another layout. A good practice is you do a layout, then you do a full, then you do another layout, then you do another full. The better your layout gets, the easier the twisting is. One more layout and a double full. So he does another layout. As his layout gets better and stronger, then his twister gets easier. All right, it's so easy now you can probably do a double twist. Wow, wow. It's been a long time. You do double twist? Okay. Then, after he does 2,000 of those, he does a double twist and bounces another half. And then, pretty soon he's doing 2.5. And then if he does 2.5 twists, lands with his hands up, he can punch the front, which you all need on floor, right, for the advanced kids. Where's Morgan? You heard that, right? 2.5 twist, punch front. But this thing is the most wonderful tool for developing the flipping, the twisting, all the things you do around the gym. Let's talk a couple minutes about double flips. I know all the advanced kids want to start doing double flips. Going forward, there's a lot of progressions you can do. You can do a front flip. You can do a front flip and land on your tummy. You can do a front 1 3/4, land on your back. And then you can do, the way we had to do it, we didn't have spotting belts. You get bigger kids, put them in the belt, have them do 300 of them, or 1,000 of them. I don't like to have them go from the front 1 1/4 to the stomach right away to the back. Because if you don't make it, it only takes about 200 pounds of force this direction or that direction to break your neck. So avoid the head. Get them in the spotting belt. Have them do the double fronts. Have them do a double front where they do a front flip and they come out and they look around, see if there's any squirrels running down the floor mat, and then tuck the second front. Get them so they have that double front so good they'll never miss it. Then take the belts off. Okay? When you start double tricks, it's nothing to fool around with. Same thing with the double backs. Make sure they have a back flip. Jump up and do a back flip to your back, just real low. Yeah. Go past the back flip. No, back to your back. Back flip around to the back, okay? That's going past the back flip. They can do that. Can you pull over out of it and not go off the tramp? Okay, now that's really a double flip, okay? He's gone through all the positions, he just had an intermediate stop in there. All right, so that's very important to get these things really, really mastered. If it's Ben's first try or first 20 tries, I'm gonna have him in the belt. I can't hand spot him, he'd kill me if he lands on me, right? And then when I'm not having to do anything, I'm just following him along for 10 in a row or something like that. Then, okay, Ben, it's time to do it. And then we will gather around, we'll spot him as much as we can. Little kids, you can have them do a back 1/4 and catch them, and dump them over. I mean, we've done that 1,000 times, but I just kind of shy away from it on the trampoline unless you know what you're doing. In order to jump with somebody and not kill their bounce, that takes a lot of practice. Can you do a double? We feel like you can do a double?
Probably.
All right. Spot. Okay, we'll do a double back, and then we'll talk about doubles.
Nice.
Okay, good. Now, wait for a minute. Okay, now Ben, I've talked to about this before. So he won't be discouraged if I tell him about it. To make a good double, you have to speed up the second flip. As you start into that second flip, you have to pull tighter and speed up that second flip. So you got time to kick out at the top and float down and do another trick. Or stick your landing if you're on the floor or off the bars. Okay? Speed up your second flip. Yeah, good. Good. Okay? Do you see how much more time he had there? And we want even more yet. We want him to kick out up here. And it's a difficult thing, but that's one of the real prerequisites for doing good double backflips is speeding up that second flip. Now you can't do that unless you've done 1,000 double backs someplace. You can't even think about it. So far you're just thinking about saving your life, right? But once you don't have to think about it, then you can start thinking about it. You can start doing things that have it. Once we get that, then we'll do an open tuck. We won't grab our legs. We'll do an open tuck around to maybe a back and about a quarter. Clap our hands. That's the point where he's going to turn and do a full out, back in, full out. Okay? It all progresses. All these things progress. And if you take nothing more back home with you, I want you to take those 3 things. The initiation of the skill, you got to get it started, you got to control it, and then you got to perfect it so you can add to it. Okay, those are really important things. I think we all understood pretty good how we initiate the rotation. Okay, off the vault board, your feet are on there for a while and your upper body's moving, and so it gives you rotation. Whether you do a round off entry vault or a regular running vault. Off the uneven bars or the high bar, you have rotation already going. And you just let loose and you keep rotating. Or if you make a tap and scoop your swing, you can even add to that rotation that you've had before. But you have to initiate it someplace, you have to control it, you have to perfect it so you can add to it. You're going to add a full twist to it or a half twist to it. See, these are the tricks. If you've done these things 1,000 times, then you know tricks. And those are all teaching technique things. So, go have fun.
Thank you.
You got 30 more years before you're smart as me.